Now I know that sounded like so much gibberish, but it'll make more sense when you see it in Airtable itself. This is the 1000 record example base again, filtered to show only those records where dup == 1. I've already gone through and tagged all of the duplicates as representing false positives by checking dup OK. As you can see, this has resulted in true dup being cleared, which in turn clears the visual flags highlighting dupes. Those of you who've read through the user's guide may recall that as part of the process causing records tagged as a false positive no longer to be flagged as duplicate, each cleared record has its record ID entered into dup OK rec. In turn, all the main table's dup OK recs are rolled up into the dup OK recs field in dedup. However, to determine whether or not to clear true dup, records in main look not to dup OK recs, but examine OK recs match instead. OK recs match is defined as the sum of dup OK recs, which, as we just discussed, is created dynamically by rolling up main dup OK rec, combined with OK recs hold, which is a text field. In other words, OK recs hold is static, unchanging, while the value of dup OK recs depends upon which records in main have dup OK checked. Therefore, to enable persistent support for false positives, all we have to do is to copy, Ctrl-C, the value from OK recs match, and paste, Ctrl-V, it into OK recs hold. Once that has been done, we can return to main and clear dup OK. There's an Airtable batch process block configured to do so, or you can simply select the header for the dup OK field, marking the entire column, and hit delete. As you can see, once OK recs hold has been set, even when dup OK has been cleared, the records do not alert as duplicate. More importantly, even though alerts are suppressed on all currently involved false positives, any matching records added later to the base will cause an alert, as we'll see in the next section. Here's how duplicate detection works in conjunction with persistent suppression of alerts from false positives. Although records 1 and 3 have matching keys, they were determined to represent a false positive, and their alerts have been suppressed by entering their record IDs into OK recs hold. When a third matching record is added to the table, it is identified and flagged as a dup. Its match key is also rolled up to later match string in the dedup table. Upon finding their match key present in later match string, earlier suppressed records have later dup set, and they're flagged accordingly. Should the new matching record also be found to be a false positive, selecting dup OK for any of the three will suppress alerts for all. To close out discussion of support for false positives, let's see how the process I just described looks from within Airtable. We're back to the 14 record base, again tweaked for this demo. I've already enabled support for persistent false positives in it, by which I mean I checked dup OK for each of the identified matches, went to the dedup table, copied the value from OK recs match to OK recs hold, returned to main, and cleared dup OK. For this demonstration, I also added a third record color definition to flag records where dup is equal to 1. This is simply to make it easier for you to see which fields have alerts suppressed. I've also added a few blank records and, although you can't see it here, linked them to the single record in dedup. So let's start by adding a record matching one of our known false positives. I already have a name saved to my clipboard, so I'll paste it here and bang, we have a match. The new record is flagged with a red indicator, while the previously existing matches are shown in amber. If you determine the new record is also a false positive, checking dup OK for any of the involved records will clear alerts for all. If, on the other hand, you find the new record represents an actual duplicate, and let me enter one now, how you handle it depends on which matching record you eliminate. For instance, if you delete the new record, alerts on the previously tagged false positives disappear as well. However, if you remove a record that matches the newly entered record, you then have to tag the new record as a false positive before alerts are suppressed. Of course, if a newly entered record matches an existing record that has not been tagged as a false positive, both records are flagged in red as being potential duplicates. Once you've processed your latest records, you can go to dedup, copy OK recs matched and OK recs hold, and you'll be ready for the next batch with your newly entered false positives supported persistently as well. There's one caution concerning persistent support for false positives I should raise, and it has to do with the use of record ID. I chose to use record ID as a guaranteed unique field for any base. The only problem is that it can be too unique. Namely, it does not transfer with duplicated bases. That is to say, if you make a copy of a base, alerts on any persistent false positives you have tagged are no longer suppressed. However, there is a very simple procedure that allows you to transfer suppressed false positives cleanly with a duplicated base. It's documented in detail in the user's guide. The final deduplication module allows for the merging of true duplicates. Merging duplicate records is one way to handle authentic duplicates. For instance, it is a mechanism used by the Airtable deduplication block. It is important to note that deduplication routines only supply the framework for implementing such a mechanism, which almost certainly would be very application-specific. Architecturally, the routines assume a master record to which duplicate records are linked. For our purposes, then, merging consists of creating these links, but it is up to the user to define exactly if and how data from associated records are to be combined. Incidentally, for me, this is by far the least satisfactory section of the routines, largely because of the seemingly unavoidable processing overhead involved. I'm hoping someone will find a better way to provide this functionality than I've managed so far. Here's a general process flow for merger of duplicates. We start with a number of records flagged as likely duplicates. The merger rules are based upon master ID, a self-joined linked record field. To merge records, first select and copy, Ctrl-C, the master record's primary field, then select master ID for the duplicate record you wish to link, and press Ctrl-V to paste the value. The presence of a value in the master ID field clears match key and true dupe. Each merged record reduces the pool of potential dupes one record at a time. For instance, merging the first duplicate key 3 only removes that record from the list of dupes. Not until the second one is merged do we end up with only a single instance of that key in match string, allowing all remaining dupes for that key to be cleared. When a match key is deleted, virtually every field in the table must be recalculated. With a large enough dataset, this can cause significant delay. However, it takes nearly as much computing power to recalculate after a single merge as it would following dozens. Accordingly, one option would be to stage pending mergers by first copying ID values to a data entry field, here called Hold Master ID. Then, once all desired mergers are in position, the entire Hold Master ID column is copied in one fell swoop into the Master ID column. This last video clip illustrates merging of duplicates. I want to emphasize up front that the deduplication routines do not perform actual merging of records, but merely provide a mechanism for linking associated records and removing linked records from the list of duplicates. As record merging is highly dependent upon the application, it is up to the individual user to craft the rules and processes required to merge records correctly. Now that's out of the way, let's see how this not-quite merger works in Airtable. Here's our old friend, the 1000-record demo base, prepared for this demonstration. As you can see, I've unhidden two fields, Master ID and Hold Master ID. Master ID is a self-joined linked record that links to the main table, that is, it links back to itself. The first step in merging duplicate records is to decide which of the records to be merged represents the master record and which the duplicate. For some applications, the oldest record would be the master. Other applications might choose the newest. Still others might decide based on entirely different criteria. For my purposes, I've decided the oldest record, that is, the record with the lowest ID, should be the master. To perform a merge, then, I want to select the primary field for my master record, copy it using Ctrl-C, and then paste it into the master ID field of my secondary record, as so. You'll see when I do so, the record is no longer alert. Unlike with false positives, though, the alerts are not merely suppressed. Instead, the triggering condition is eliminated as my secondary record no longer has match key defined. This means there is now only a single instance of match key Adam Dillon, in this case, in dedupe match string, clearing not just true dupe, but dupe ? As well. In Amanda Ortiz's case, a newly added record turns out to be an actual duplicate of one already flagged as a false positive. When I merge the new record with the earlier one, I'm left with only the false positives remaining, which causes the alerts to be suppressed. Sometimes you may find yourself having to merge multiple records. Here, for instance, I have two Andy P. Runyons to merge into a master record. Once the true duplicates have been handled, I can suppress alerts on the remaining false positives. Finally, keep in mind that every time a match key is deleted, it causes a recalculation of 2 to 5 fields for every record in the table. Even so, you'll notice the response time is still quite short, surprisingly short even, for a 1000-record table. Unfortunately, by 2000 records or so, the delay becomes noticeable. By 5000, it's painful. By 10,000, it borders on unacceptable. However, it takes essentially the same amount of time to recalculate following the merger of a single record as it does after merging all the records. Accordingly, if a table has become large enough for the post-merger lag to become an issue, it's possible to stage the merger by first indicating which records are to be merged, and then performing multiple mergers in one fell swoop. To do so, one makes use of the Hold Master ID field. The master record's primary field is copied to Hold Master ID for each record one wishes to merge. Then, once all mergers are on deck, the entire Hold Master ID column is copied and pasted into the Master ID column, and all outstanding mergers are performed at once. And that's it. I hope these routines prove useful, as a starting point if nothing else. Feel free to thwart, warp, corrupt, and improve upon them as you see fit. I'd love to hear about any bugs you find or variations you create, either in the routines themselves or in the documentation. And of course, if you run into any problems integrating deduplications of your own base, if you're still not clear how or why the routines do what they do, please don't hesitate to contact me. My website is pauladesigns.com. Email is wvann, V-A-N-N, 2 N's, hall, @pauladesigns.com. And I can always be reached through Airtable community at w_van_hall. Thanks.